So she said she didn't want to bombard me with all the information. And for a person like me, like this is how I am anywhere: personal life, professional life, home. Give me the information first. Give me the truth. Give me honesty and let me decide what to do with it. And I don't know when people give themselves the liberty to lie to you. Sometimes it's for their own benefit, and sometimes it's because some people just don't like being put on the spot, and they don't like being held accountable. Or you have some people who are pleasers, or they have not been safe to say you know the truth. But myself personally, I wanted to know what was going on with my kid, and the more detailed the information, the better. But this was not that. She had mixed messages in there. So you would have some times where today was not a good day. Then you'd have some times where today was a better day. Okay, now the trend is if he has a good day, he makes up for it the next day. Then it became his tantrums that are we're going further in between tantrums, but when he does have a tantrum, he rocks out. And I mean, it is what it is. So I'm sitting here and I'm listening to him talk. And I turned to the behavior strategist and I asked her, where do you recommend I start? And she told me, she asked me who was this pediatrician. I told her, she said, I recommend you start there. So I said, okay. So we started at the pediatrician's office. I made an appointment that day. But after she said that, and her and his teacher started talking, and they started bouncing ideas off of each other, because I believe his teacher at one point was a behavior strategist, but or at least she did behavior observations. So they just started bouncing ideas off of each other. Maybe we'll try this. We'll try this. And we'll try this and we'll try this. And I'm telling you, it was just as I loved it. It was entertaining as a damn tennis match. I was just looking back and forth, like, okay, y'all are uh really trying to help him. Of course, the principal had to scratch the record. Okay. So she jumps in and she's like, okay, if we're going to be doing all of this for him, when he's doing these behaviors, we're going to start documenting this on State Farm. And I'm like, do you mean write him up? Well, no. You mean write him up. So I asked a question. I said, so are we punishing him for being accommodated? Like, is it an exchange? Because I said, because let's not forget he's 5 years old, and so is it, if we're going to help you adjust, we're also gonna punish you because we're helping you adjust. And that's just the kind of person I am. I'm gonna ask the question straight out. I just don't have sense enough to say it behind your back. I'm gonna say it in your face. And so, like, I'm trying to think, what day was that? That was it August the 28th? Well, in any case, I made an appointment for him to go to see the pediatrician. I had those dates all wrong. Like, that was September the 6th. So we are, just a couple of weeks into school, barely. And I took him to the pediatrician on September the 7th that morning. And I had to go to work that night. So I got up, took him to the pediatrician. When we got to the pediatrician was very concerned because he's been his pediatrician since birth. And he said, I'm concerned. He doesn't want me to touch him. He's screaming. He doesn't want to get on the exam table. He doesn't believe anything that I'm telling him. He said he's not trusting me right now. And he said there is a lot of anxiety in him right now. He said, and I'm concerned about that. He said, so we need to get him over for some behavior modification. So he gave me a referral. Well, he called in a referral, however you do it. And he told me, and because I had already expressed my concern that they were trying to get him to move schools. And he was like, this is not the time for that. He said, we need to see what's going on, and they need to give us some time. On our way out of the pediatrician's office, we ran into his speech therapist, and I was explaining to her what was going on. And she said, and they're already telling you that they don't think that this is a school for him. I said, yeah. She said they need to give you 6 to 9 weeks, and they know that. And the way she said it was like, this is absolutely ridiculous. Like they understand what they need to do to help a child adjust into school the very first time. So we leave there. And I'm really, really just hoping that something that I'm saying is kind of, getting through to them. Because I'm a present parent. I mean, that's what they say they want. They keep saying, parents, y'all need to show up to the school. Parents, y'all need to show up to the schools. Then when a parent does show up to the school, you don't want to work with the parent in whatever adjustment the child needs. So I take him back to school, walk him back to his class, because now let me just say, this school has an open door policy. So parents can walk into the office, sign, and walk back, to their child's class. And I loved it because I was able to see with my own eyes what it was that he was doing. So I walk back and I give him to his teacher. And I tell her, I said, we went to the doctor. He did not have a good visit. I will not be surprised if he has a bad day today. She told me, okay. Well, by the end of the day, I'm getting a phone call from the principal basically saying that, I am sending Miles home with a referral that and she said in this conversation that my child threw rocks at another child, which kids do. I mean, we threw rocks at each other. Like, the way you handle things may change, but nothing's changed about children hardly since the beginning of time. And so kids are going to throw things. And what do? You say, don't throw. And you're going to have to tell them, don't throw again. You're going to have to tell them several times until they get it. So she told me that he threw rocks at this little girl. And what was it? What else was it that she said he did? Okay, I told you I got the papers here. But he threw rocks at her. I think she said he cussed. He might have said what the fuck during bus dismissal. And she was giving him an in-school suspension for Monday when we came back to school. So my mom picked him up that day and she asked me, she said, what do you think when you see this? Because she sent me a screenshot of the State Farm. I told her it looks like it almost looks like stacking the deck against somebody. I said it looks like they're trying to make things look worse than they are. And this is not the tone of voice I'm using now. Like, I'm in full on panic. So then my mama tells me, she said, listen, she said, I know this your child. She said, I know that this your little child over here. She's like, but you my child. So the first thing I need you to do is I need you to take a breath. She said, and because I'm at work now and I'm walking up and down the hallway, walking in the bathroom, eyes full of tears. And she said, you can't handle that like this. She said, you're going to have to find out what's going on and what you can do. And so I told her, I said, I'll tell you what, I said, I'm going to walk him into school Monday morning and I'm going to have a conversation with the principal. And I did that. I walked him into school and I asked her if she thought, so the first thing I asked her was if an in-school suspension was a documented suspension. She told me yes. I said, so do you think that his first documented form should result in a suspension, number one? And number two, do you think that is a punishment for him? Well, maybe he will get it. Maybe I'm hoping that this does something with him. I said, but he's 5. And the only thing that he understands is I can't go to class with my friends. And her only response was, well, Miss, I said, why not a detention if you're going to give a consequence? Well, Miss Jordan, he's been doing these things. You still haven't answered my question. What's the difference in detention and suspension other than it goes against his 3 strikes? She didn't answer me, and she basically let me know that the decision won't be changed and he'll be up here with us today. So I walked away, couldn't do anything about it. Next part.